Hey guys.
Recently, I've been captivated by the notion of heroes existing in our world, but not in the conventional sense. As most of you are aware, many iconic comic book characters emerged from the late 1930s to the mid 1960s. Many of you watching were likely not alive during that era, and as a result, there's a nostalgic allure to those bygone days. But what if these comic stories weren't merely fictional creations? What if they were cryptic records of actual figures from our past, now lost to time? Images and videos that make something seem real refers to, well, pictures and videos of fictional characters that invoke a particular feeling from the viewer, a sense that these characters existed or have existed in our reality, but for whatever reason, we can no longer see them around. These images hold a deep fascination from their dedicated fan bases, drawing us to worlds we can never truly inhabit. They act as a mirror, allowing us to peek into an alternate reality where these characters truly existed. There's a strange melancholy to such a world where these figures have become relics of a distant era, surviving only in rare physical records. We were born too late to witness them ourselves, relegating them to the realm of myth. It's hard to figure out what makes a character in an image feel real. We can discuss the lighting, set design, costume, and posing, but when it comes down to it, the thing that ultimately makes an image appear natural is its simplicity and quality. The shots aren't exactly complicated in many of these type of photos. There's no elaborate framing or composition, and it's simply a shot of a character captured at the moment, often doing something pretty mundane but extraordinary simultaneously. Now when it comes to this photo, it's a lot harder to figure out why it gives off such an effect. There's the age of the image, which looks dated and disconnects us from the period, but a lot of it had to do with the appearance of Superman himself, which looks like the Alex Ross depiction of the character. This man, Frank Casey, was the model Alex Ross used to form his illustrations of Superman, creating this strange, uncanny effect, as if you saw him jump right from the page. However, not every photo has the luxury of models resembling famous seminal illustrations, but they do achieve the effect entirely differently. Take this image for example. It's of Christopher Reeve's Superman standing on a street while balancing a car on his finger. This shot is great because it shows the character doing something so mundane when you compare it to every other thing Superman has done. Here, he's simply showing off his strength to whoever took the photo. One thing that adds to the believability of the image is the camera quality, which, as mentioned before, makes the image appear dated, helping us disconnect from what's taking place. An extraordinary person who lived so long ago that we can only dream of what they were like when they were still around. The image's simplicity also helps to hide the photo's artificial nature. You can't see any camera crew or filming equipment in the background, or even a wire on the car, which helps to sell the believability. These elements of hiding the artifice, the simple nature of the images that makes it look like any random person took them, and the aging quality of the photo that disconnects us from the time period is why photos like this are so effective. Even more modern photos have all the elements needed to help a character feel like they truly existed. It's photos like these that brings us into the worlds these characters existed within, and they for one moment allow us to dream about living in a much more exciting world.
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there, so to speak.
Hanging in there. Nice of you to drop by on us here.
Photos aren't the only way to capture this feeling, as often videos offer a much more powerful effect. Now, unlike photos, it's much harder for a video to convey this feeling. You have to hide any film equipment, and the performances and events within the footage cannot appear staged. There's many ways to do this, and one way is for the performers in the video to take what's happening seriously, as if what's taking place was made for children in mind. This can often be seen in different films and TV shows through various methods. The Dark Knight and movies like Batman v Superman created this effect. They created fake news interviews where characters argue over politics of the role of superheroes in their world and Gotham City's corruption. They broadcast fake TMZ-style coverage of Gotham's biggest celebrities, gossiping about relationships and the many exploits of Bruce Wayne.
If anyone is for abolishing the speeding ticket, they got my vote.
And they create fake commercials advertising Metropolis and Gotham City. And most notable of all, some employ real-world ARGs that have people engage in different activities, playing the role as Gotham citizens, which when filmed makes it appear as if Gotham City had come to life. It's important to know that news coverage can look fake if done wrong, while the fake news interviews in The Dark Knight look pretty real at surface value. When you actually watch them, it's very hard not to see that they are acting and putting on a performance.
Alan, wouldn't that require the Batman to play along? I mean, who's going to make this guy retire? You? Mr. Garcetti, one of the platforms is to incarcerate the Batman. Now, do you think he's going to just lay down his arms when Harvey Dent takes over?
He may not get a chance. Harvey Dent has almost the entire police department under investigation.
Here we go, Mike. Honestly, this guy is...
Hold on, let's stick to the point. Mr. Garcetti, why do you think the Batman should be brought to justice?
A man who takes the law into his own hands, even in the name of justice, is by definition breaking the law.
This is especially true when you see the green screen behind some of the characters, which just breaks the illusion. There's also this deleted scene from Spider-Man 2 of J. Jonah Jameson engaging in an interview. While they do try to emulate a real news broadcast, it's very hard for the viewer to take what's happening seriously and believe in the events taking place.
There is a convention going
That's
on at the
right.
Sheridan City Center. It's a comic book convention.
It is called the North Coast Comic Con.
You know about it?
I do indeed, yeah.
She's pretty smart.
This is not true, however, in this video footage of Spider-Man interviewing about charity work. This footage comes across as genuine and real. Perhaps it's the believable performances, or maybe it's the high quality of the costume. One thing's for sure, this scene did a better job of selling the believability than any other Hollywood production. In fact, I think it's the low quality look of this footage that really sells this as real. Other projects use the found footage format to create this effect as well, since found footage automatically grounds your story no matter how fantastical. It's a great tool to allow characters to appear as if they existed in our world. However, often this illusion is broken when you see the clear use of CGI in the footage, which breaks the illusion. That's why found footage is much more powerful in the context of real-world footage. This clip is the best example of how effective this can be. The shot shows Green Goblin flying around a building, fighting Spider-Man. Now, because the footage is low quality, the frame is cropped and we can barely make out any wires on the character. It looks like Green Goblin is truly present in our reality, a strange remnant of a past where extraordinary figures existed. Although superheroes are fantastic, it may be for the best that they belong to such extraordinary worlds. Living an ordinary existence isn't such a bad thing.